Hey guys, Aaron here. Today we're going to be replacing a cracked exhaust manifold on a Nissan Titan. Now this particular truck is a 2008 with about 207,000 miles. However, these procedures will be the same from years 2004 through 2015, which is the first generation Nissan Titan. Now this is a pretty lengthy job, however using the correct tools and a couple tips and tricks I'm going to show you, anybody can really do this by themselves. And this happens to be a very common issue with these Nissan trucks. Nissan Armadas and Infiniti QX56 have these same motors and experience these same problems as well. Now, along with the noise of the crack in the exhaust manifold, what we're experiencing is P0174 and an intermittent P2A03, which is a lean condition on the passenger side. Now it's important to note, once you replace your exhaust manifold, to do a clearing of the self-learn ratio for the engine, and I'll include that in the end of this video. If you do not do the proper relearn procedure for the air to fuel ratio, these codes will appear after you have replaced the manifold, so definitely stick around to watch that. Now before we begin, let's go ahead and go over the tools we're going to need to get the job done. So we're going to need a good quality pair of tin snips, a trim removal tool, 10mm open end wrench, a 14mm wrench, 7/8 open end wrench, 10mm socket, 17mm socket. We're going to need a 14mm deep well swivel socket. This tool right here is imperative. It's super strong, it's impact grade, so it's not going to snap or round off the bolts for the high amount of torque that we need. I'll put a link in the description of where you can purchase this. An O2 sensor socket, and then if you can't or you don't have one of these sockets, you could just use a swivel adapter here. This is an impact swivel adapter. There are other types that won't stand up to the amount of the torque that we need to use to get those nuts off, so I really recommend you use impact grade hardware. We're going to use a 1/2-inch ratchet, a torque wrench, an assortment of extensions, a 6-inch and I believe 9-inch, our impact gun, and of course a breaker bar to put a lot of torque on those nuts. Now, one quick note before we begin: do yourself a favor and buy the OEM gaskets from Nissan. The first time I did this job, I used the supplied gaskets. This is it right here. I found myself taking off the same exhaust manifold because this leaked after about a week. The OEM gaskets are a MLS multi-layered steel type crush gaskets. They're very, very, very good quality. I've never seen them leak after I used them. As long as you're using proper torque, they shouldn't. I will include a link, actually links in the description of all the part numbers, including the nuts. Do yourself another favor, purchase brand new nuts. Chances are you might round one off a little bit. You don't want to be installing that because it could give you trouble down the line. Now, since I'm working on a fleet vehicle, I'm going to be replacing the cracked manifold with an aftermarket manifold made by MagnaFlow. I will include a link in the description of where you can purchase and how much it's going to be. If this was my personal vehicle or any other vehicle than a fleet vehicle, I'd probably go with a long tube header design. It's going to be a lot cheaper than replacing both manifolds with this MagnaFlow version. There's actually a really good company out there that sells JBA full stainless steel full-length long tube headers and exhaust systems for these vehicles. I'll include a link in the description for that company. I highly recommend you go to them if you have this issue. Now, the first thing we're going to do is just isolate the negative battery cable so nobody accidentally starts it or we don't accidentally turn on the ignition, because we will have sensors unplugged from the vehicle. We don't want any codes appearing. Now, the next step is going to be to remove the inner fender right here. It's held on by a couple of Phillips head screws and a couple of plastic pop rivets. Using our trim removal tool, we're going to go ahead and take up all these rivets. There's about 4 or 5 of them, and then we're going to take off the Phillips screws and completely take out this fender. Before we can get to any of these bolts right here, you're going to have to remove the heat shield using a 10mm wrench. and some tin snips. Now I went ahead and removed this prior to me doing the job. I wanted to kind of make sure that I had a crack, and in order to do that, that heat shield had to come off. Every single time I've done this, I've had one of the bolts snap on me. That's not a problem. It's just kind of hard to turn. So if you do have a bolt that holds the heat shield in the manifold snap, no big issue. It's a very common thing, common occurrence. And then of course the tin snips are going to have to be used to cut the heat shield in half in order for it to come out. This is an ABS wire right here. Go ahead and remove that. That might help you getting a little bit further clearance in there. Before we start removing any sensors or unbolting anything, I just like to take a little bit of BP blaster, spray down all the nuts. Just give it a chance to soak. If you could allow it to soak overnight, that would be best, but unfortunately I don't have that option, so I'm just gonna give this 30 minutes and start working on these things. I'm gonna remove the connector for the front O2 sensor. What I like to do is just take some needle nose pliers and depress this little clip. That way you don't damage it and you can reinstall it. And the back of the connector has a tab. Simply just push it down and pull out. Next, let's go ahead and remove our O2 sensor using our O2 sensor socket. Now on the passenger side, we have the dipstick for the engine oil right here. I'm just gonna have to remove it using this 10mm socket. There we go. Simply just pull straight up. Now here we are underneath the vehicle. Our intermediate pipe right here is going to have to come out using a 14mm socket and some penetrating oil. We're going to go ahead and loosen up the nuts. Now we're going to have to remove the secondary O2 sensor, which is right here. This connector normally is attached to the transmission on a bracket, so that's not in our case, but the back of the, just like the front one, the back of the connector houses a little pin you have to push down to remove it. And by using a 7/8 open end wrench, we can go ahead and unscrew the O2 sensor. After you're doing both exhaust manifolds, you can go ahead and begin on the other side. But since I'm doing one, I'm just removing this pipe right here, and as you can see, I can't. What we're going to need to do is take the white pipe and the rest of the exhaust and push it back a couple inches so these studs will clear. In order to do that, we're going to have to take the hardware off of the passenger side. I'm going to take a ratchet strap and put it around the frame right here, just to push back the exhaust a couple inches for it. Now the next thing that we're going to do is loosen and remove the motor mount bolts so we can lift the engine up a couple inches. It's going to give us a little more clearance to get to our studs, and it's going to help give us some clearance to remove the manifold itself. There's two bolts down here using our 17mm socket. We're just going to put this socket on here, and I'm actually going to reach from the top of the engine compartment with a 24-inch extension to remove these. Now since I'm just replacing one exhaust manifold today, I'm going to be just loosening up that side's bolts for the motor mount. If you're doing both, go ahead and remove both before you lift up the motor. All we need is about 1 inch. I'm going to take a 2x4 and put it underneath my jack. That way I get the same amount of pressure evenly distributed across the oil pan to prevent any leaks or cracks or anything like that. Now using our 6-point swivel socket, we're going to go ahead and start removing the nuts. It's very important that you make sure that you're on the nut 100% before you start twisting. The last thing you want to do is strip these out. If you are having a lot of issues, maybe you live in the rust belt and the stud is rusted, I really recommend getting a torch and heating up the nut prior to removal. It's going to make the job a lot easier, but since this is a southern vehicle, desert southwest vehicle, there's not a lot of rust, so I'm not thinking I should have a lot of issues removing these. There we go. So I got all the bolts out except for this one right here. It's giving me a little bit of an issue. It's pretty much the hardest one to get to. Now, if you are experiencing the same issues that I have, you can go ahead and take out the coilover right here, and there's a hole in the back of the coilover. You can see it right there that you can put your extension through. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to put my 14mm socket directly on the nut and get in there with my 1/2-inch breaker and try to break it loose without the extension. What you're going to find is that you're going to have to get a little creative with how you use your extensions and swivels to get to the bolts just perfectly. If you round them off, it's trouble big time. So I'm just double checking to make sure that I do not do that and do it the right way. Now that we've removed all the nuts for the exhaust manifold, the next thing we need to do is take out all 4 bolts for the engine mount and loosen this one nut right here just to where it's about to come out with a 17mm socket. So all our nuts are removed, our motor mount is loosened up, and the bracket is loosened from the motor. Now we're pretty much ready to take this thing out and install our new gasket. Alright, now it's time to go ahead and bolt on our new manifold. What I'm going to be doing is putting the bolts on finger tight, and then I'm going to be torquing them down to 25 foot-pounds. Start in the middle and then work your way out. There's no real order besides that, so just go ahead and start with the middle, one in the middle, bolts right here, and then work out towards the edges as you torque them down. All right, once we got everything torqued down, we're pretty much ready to put everything back in reverse procedure. While I'm here, I'm going to just go ahead and put my O2 sensor in. Before we put this old exhaust pipe back on, what I like to do is replace this gasket right here using a little pick. Just pry it off. Alright, so everything's back together. We've got everything bolted up and torqued down. All our O2 sensors are in place. Now it's pretty much time to start it up and listen for any leaks. Go ahead, warm it up. I like to keep the fender or the fender well up here off for the initial drive. That way, if any leaks do occur, we can go ahead and address them. And after a couple heat cycles, it's always nice to get back in here and torque these down. They may loosen up a little bit, so that's always a good thing to do. Alright, so before we go on a test drive, we're going to need to clear the self-learn air-fuel ratio in the ECU. There's two ways to do that, with a bidirectional scanner or to do it manually. So what you want to do is get the vehicle up to normal operating temperature, let it idle for a couple minutes. You can see our temperature gauge there is right in the middle. That's good. Make sure there's no current codes in the computer. And then what we're going to want to do is unplug the mass airflow sensor. And after that, we're going to start the engine and let it idle for at least 5 seconds. It's going to stumble at first, but it should run. And then we're going to wait for the check engine light to come on. As you can see, it did there. We're going to shut off the vehicle. Now we're going to confirm that we have P0102, and as you can see, we do have that code pop up. Now we're going to go ahead, plug in our mass airflow sensor, and clear all the codes together. There we are, codes are cleared. Let's start it up and let it idle for at least 2 minutes. So just getting done with the test drive, and right away this thing is a lot quieter. So I hope this video has helped you out. If it has, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave something in the comment section, guys. If you do the job any differently, I'd like to hear about it. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you guys next time.